Fremont Group is a nonprofit organization supporting small to mid-sized business owners. We're located in Aurora, Colorado, but we have success partners nationwide. Through our success partners, we provide consulting, mentoring, coaching, and accounting services, and are also able to refer tax planning, benefits, including 401ks, workers' compensation, health and other insurances, and HR support, and creative financing options. I am Dirk Dieters, the Executive Director. Uh, Please take the time and visit our website at www.tfginfo.org. Become a patron at our Patreon site, patreon.com/the Fremont Group, and then follow us also on Facebook. We perform on-site business assessments, host webinars, provide relevant information to help your business owners achieve their goals. Our motto is, you only have what you give. It's by giving of yourself that you grow rich. In my book, Minding My Own Business, I detail the 6 responsibilities of a small business owner, the sixth of which is having fun. The first 5 are really quite easy. You have to make a minimum mandatory percentage of profit. You have to create cost controls that create that profit. You have to create an organizational structure that will enforce those cost controls. You have to sell internally and externally. And you have to, after you make money, you have to keep it and minimize risk. The sixth one, you must have fun, is a lot more nebulous, but it's just as important. If you're not having fun, you won't do the other things. And this is the topic for our final 2 months of 2019. It may sound silly to have to ask why you have to have fun, but the bottom line is this. If you aren't having fun, you aren't going to be successful. What do we mean by successful? I define success as attaining your goals. I define failure as not obtaining your goals. Critical in this whole definition is to remember that they are your goals and not the goals that others try to put upon you. That's why at all of our initial consultations, we start with the owner and preferably with their spouse also, clearly defining their goals so that a focus can be created. It's not that easy. Sometimes you really do have to dig deep and push and really identify what it is the owners really want, because that is what their success is. Trying to drive them to anything other than what they want is a folly. Having fun can be different things to different people, but it's also related to the attainment of your goals, because your goals should include what it is that you really want. What makes this sixth responsibility a little bit unique is that we're going to examine them in the negative. Instead of what is it that is fun for you, what is it that's stopping you from having fun? And we've decided, after speaking with numbers of people, that that main obstacle to having fun is stress. And so what we're going to do now is address the 3 things, the 3 elements that we believe causes the most stress, so that you can address those. Those 3 causes of stress are uncertainty, compensation, and pressure. We're going to identify each of them and discuss them, and then every 2 weeks for the remainder of the year, we will go in depth into each of those 3 areas. Those of you who are not patrons should sign up and become a patron at patreon.com so that you can follow the next 3 presentations after this. Let's start with uncertainty. Bad news, problems that you knew about, knew that were coming, they aren't the ones that cause you stress. Rather, it's the surprises that hit and the fear of those surprises that result from the uncertainty of not knowing what causes that stress. If I tell you that 4 weeks from now money is going to be tight, you'll take a breath and then you'll deal with it. If I tell you that sometimes in the next 6 weeks you're going to run out of money, but I'm not going to tell you when, which week it's going to be, then you have stress each week wondering if this is going to be the week. Lack of information is the real issue. A little joke or story that kind of goes along with that is the golfer that shows up at his country club. And he's an excellent golfer. And He's going to play by himself that day, but he sees this Texan out in the range hitting the ball left and right and all over the place, and he's going, man, I sure hope they don't match me up with him. Well, sure enough, he gets to the first tee and he's matched up with this Texan. Texan goes, howdy, partner. I'm going to play with you today, and I want to play for big money. So the member looks at him and says, listen, I saw you on the range. You're hitting it all over the place. I'm very good. You're not. I don't want to just take your money. You certainly don't want to play for big money. The Texan goes, well, yes, big money. I want to play for big money. He says, oh, okay, I guess I'll take this guy's money. What I'll do though is, how many shots do you want? And the Texan says, oh, well, I just want 2 shots. Just 2 shots. The member really just starts shaking his head some more, and he goes, come on, I saw you. You only want 2 shots? He says, yes, sir. Okay, that's fine. Anything else? So the Texan goes, yeah, you have to hit first on every shot. The member goes, okay, fine. So he tees up his ball on the first tee, and he gets into the stance, he turns, and he starts to hit, he gets into his backswing, and boom! He swings and misses, and the ball just kind of rolls off the tee, barely hardly even hitting it. He turns around and says, what the heck was that? And the Texan's standing there with his gun and says, that was my first shot, but I'm not going to tell you when the second shot comes. I know who's going to win that round. It's the uncertainty that causes stress. So rule number 1 is minimize that uncertainty. Where does uncertainty come from? Well, most of the time it comes from cash flow. So have a cash flow projection that anticipates your cash flow issues for at least 6 weeks in advance so that you can see where you're going to stand at all times with your cash. And that way you can know, oh, 4 weeks from now we're going to have a problem. We'll deal with it. Okay, let's deal with it now, and then it won't be a problem. But lacking that, you don't know when the shoe's going to drop. Secondly, have redundancy in operations, because the second real uncertainty is that would be the loss of a key employee. So that if you have redundancy in operations, meaning that there are more than one person that can do each function, then a loss of a key employee can be dealt with systematically. Again, that eliminates uncertainty. And then lastly, third strategy to minimize uncertainty is to constantly review your strategic plan so that you can anticipate market changes and other disruptive events and have a plan in place so that you can deal with that. Those 3 actions will minimize your uncertainty and lower your stress. The second source of uncertainty, of stress, comes from compensation. What am I talking about? Are you the highest paid person in your company? If not, there's a problem. If you can't take time off and yet your employees can, that's compensation, and there's a problem. If you don't cultivate outside interests like your family, there's a problem. And the problem is that you're not receiving adequate compensation for your time and risk, and you won't be having fun. Compensation includes all of those things. Your goals should include these items unapologetically. Some owners want to apologize for one of these things, think they should work around the clock and never take a day off and always be there 24/7. But sometimes they're doing that mostly out of simply fear that something will go wrong and they won't be there, and they don't have people in place and a plan to deal with it. You're wrong. Build a business, and building the value of that business means that the business can generate profit and cash flow without you. The profit and cash flow should be generated through systems, procedures, and controls that you have created and that you monitor. That's how you build a business. That's how your compensation issue can minimize your stress. So, rule number 2, identify why your business exists. We love to do this with clients. And we'll let them go through a number of different things and then finally point out to them that there's really only one reason for your business to exist, and that's to make your life better. The things that are making your life worse need to be minimized, and the things that are making your life better about the business need to be maximized. In order to make your life better, you need to be properly compensated, financially and emotionally. Identify the obstacles to each of those, address them in your strategic plan, and then focus on achieving your plan. The third source of stress is pressure. Of course, we all know that pressure is self-inflicted. However, that self-inflicted pressure needs to be addressed in order for you to be successful. In order to be a successful business owner, you must have a high ego. Many people deny that they have that high ego, but that's baloney. They're kidding themselves. They do, and that's fine. As a matter of fact, it's critical. A small business owner that does not have a high ego is not going to be successful. They have to believe that they're good. They have to believe they can do things. More than anything else, though, is what they really want. And it's usually that success is defined differently because it's not just the money. For many, many people, it's being able to show someone, you probably their spouse, that they're not a bozo and that they really are good enough to be successful. And by creating that money and wealth and the quality of life, they are showing someone that they can be successful in what they're doing. So how do you deal with the pressure is what's important. It's self-inflicted, so it's there, but how do we deal with it? And our rule of three is embrace the pressure. That means first identify the self-inflicted pressures that you own. Write them down, or even better, if, for example, it is your spouse that is the source of the pressure, discuss it with them. Thirdly, create benchmarks for success. No one ever goes up to a small business owner and says, hey, you did a great job last month of keeping your cost of goods to 42%. No, no. You need those benchmarks for yourself so that you can identify uh, what is your success and will ease that pressure. Once you've created those benchmarks for success, you have to monitor them, and then you have to reward yourself for those achievements. Also hold yourself accountable. That's where effective reporting comes in, where you can't really kid yourself. Did you do it or didn't you do it? After you've gone through that process, revise your benchmarks and then repeat the process. Sort of like the shampoo. Shampoo, rinse, and repeat. So, what can we do for you? How can you work with the Fremont Group? Our success partners start with an initial consultation during which we complete a business assessment. We confirm with you and tie down what are your real goals. We identify what's stopping you from attaining them by examining your financials, your people, your systems, procedures, controls, and yourself. And then we agree upon an action plan to address those rocks in the road that are stopping you or in the way of you attaining those goals. For the remainder of this year, we'll post every 2 weeks examining those three causes that we've just stressed that we've just identified. Feel free to give us a call anytime, 303-338-9300. Only patrons will be able to view the final three of this four-part series. So go to patreon.com, the Fremont Group, become a patron, and then you can follow along on the following three installments of this series. We can also be reached by email, admin@tfginfo.org. Hope to hear from you.